Hello, last daylight, and I haven't used this one in a while, and this one is getting very condensed, so I think I'm going to, this is very cold and hard, I have to soften it in my hands. I found a real nice costume store, costume store, costume in German, costume store on the internet, and because I was looking for vegan leather belts. So vegan. Okay, there are two costume stores on the internet that have party type of accessories and clothing, and one of them is a Halloween store, so where they actually sell so many costumes that one can make one, and they're very reasonably priced, amazing, like $50, around $50 for the whole costume, pretty awesome. And one can actually make a movie with that. I mean, it's like, it's gonna look cheap, but I kind of like that. Then also, again, it has its own, character when it is really cheap, with cheap wigs and cheap costumes and the plus about that is that it has plus sizes, but also the main plus is that these are all vegan materials. Okay, they don't use anything from animal skins, and that is absolutely fantastic. I love it. So maybe I will buy myself some of those costumes and we make a movie with the Papa Dog. Make the Papa Dog a nice cape. I make him a cape out of a fleece material like this here. I have these, this is my sewing box here. It looks like I have my clothes thrown in there, but this is just these are my sewing rags basically. And some of them are not rags, some of them are new blankets and stuff like this, and I wanted to make myself clothes out of it, like a whole pantsuit and stuff like this, like a yoga suit and stuff like that. So that's pretty nice. Double layer for always for the cold temperatures. That's how I got started with sewing, because I had to make things that would come over my hips, and I would make double layered pants and double layered sweaters that come way down, and turtleneck and all of this. So I made a whole bunch of those. I made like, I don't know, like 15 outfits or something already. And this is softening up now, but it's getting a little bit dehydrated, so I'm gonna make something with it. I'm gonna make a nice sculpture out of it. Feels good to be able to visit with my friends Sandy and Koala and Mirka and Drew and Sarat. It's real nice to have. And Kevin, it's nice to have you guys as my friends. Really nice. We make a nice, cozy afternoon tea party here in my cozy room. And the temperatures are good right now. It's nice, and the sky is amazing. Really amazing. I have to show you. It is amazing. And the window the window, that is pretty disastrous with the window. So, but imagine the window is just has some nice crystals hanging on it. So that way we don't have to look at what it really is. which what it really is, it's Eastern kind of decoration. Flowers, bunnies, and letters that I glued onto the window in order to protect the birds from flying into it. And it worked. So I did that on different windows. But then after a couple of years, those bunnies, flowers, and letters and Santa Clauses, they're all melting from the sun, and they're coming flowing down the window, and then it doesn't look so good anymore. But another plus of that is plus side. There's always a plus side. It catches it catches insects. Particularly fruit flies, which are very pesky and annoying. So every summer there is this fruit fly invasion. We do composting and all of this, so they're out there already. But we have, when you do composting in the kitchen, which I highly recommend because it's important, but when you put food rests like vegetable rests or fruit rests, particularly the sweet fruits and all of this like watermelon, if you put this into a large compost container, you have to make sure that you cover the top with a towel. And it's better to have a towel on it because the towel allows it to breathe instead of having a hard lid closing it and sealing it in, because the stuff that's inside of there is full of bacteria and full of insects and larvae and eggs, and it's all good. It's all good. People always have wrong ideas about it. They think that they need to get rid of it, but this is what we need on this planet. My goodness, we also need molds. We need molds, bacteria. We need insects. Very important. The earthworms. They are the most important beings actually for planet Earth. The most important. And they're helping all of us. Without the earthworms, that there are recycling system. Without the earthworms, life on Earth would not exist, would not be able to exist. You can't live without a recycling system, without a proper waste management system, and that's nature's Earth's own waste management system, is to decompose everything back into rich earth soil full of nutrients and vitamins and all of this, and immune strengthening stuff for the plants and for the animals, because the animals then eat the plants, and so we have this whole biodynamic life cycle. But fruit flies are pesky, and they breed so fast. That's why they use them in research also. That's why use them also, I think, for rejuvenation research and all kinds of different research, like, I don't know, medication, pharma industry, whatnot. But because they breed so incredibly fast. So if you have an open compost container in the kitchen and you got stuff in there, particularly during the summertime, it doesn't take very long. It takes about an hour and the whole house is full of fruit flies. That's how fast it takes. They lay an egg and, like, I think about an hour later they hatch, and then they get into the whole house and they buzz around your nose, and it's very annoying. So that's why you have to put a towel over it. Even if there are already some eggs and all of this in it, that towel helps incredibly much. This is the solution. So, and then, the rest of the fruit flies, they get caught on those numbers and letters and bunnies and Santa Clauses that are attached to the window. And that's very practical. It kind of works like fly glue paper, sort of, it's, even larger stuff got on it, which I don't want, so some of the daddy long legs got caught on it. I see a fly got caught on it as well. So it's okay, So, but we need all of those. We need flies, for example. Flies lay maggots, and people have the wrong ideas about all of this. They think that's pesky or wrong. It's not wrong at all. It is wonderful. Flies are, I mean, they might look kind of like they come from feces and they look black, and you don't know what kind of, I think they're black because they have to absorb a lot of sunlight and to give them energy or something. So they need heat and they need sunlight. And then we don't know, when we see a black insect, that we don't know where they have been and what kind of stuff got stuck on them. While if you see a green insect, then it doesn't, it looks clean, and you think that a green insect only eats leaves and stuff like this. This is probably also the case. But, flies they might appear dirty in all of this, but they are not dirty. So they're not dirty at all. I mean, it depends where they have been, If they've been on a carcass, we don't know. They might even carry some tapeworm eggs, but they're not as likely to carry a tapeworm egg as other insects. For example, fleas. Fleas, they have sucked up tapeworm eggs, actually. So if a dog ingests a flea by itching himself with the mouth, and there was the flea, and flea got into the mouth and got ingested, then the chances are very high that the dogs get infected with tapeworms. And that's not very good. That's very, very awful. So fleas are parasitic insects. Flies are not parasitic insects. Fruit flies, any kind of fly, is not a parasitic insect. Okay. They can accidentally carry a parasite on them sometimes. Grasshoppers, I heard, they can carry some parasitic things on them, or on their wings, I heard. So the wings of grasshoppers and crickets and stuff like this, so they might contain something, but something that got on them, so somehow it's not coming from them directly. So, and because of that, I recommend, also talk about this in length in my book, in my holistic health book, That's why we need to give our dogs diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth, in German called Diatomerde. I don't know how this is called in French. Diatom. Um, I don't know how earth is called in French. Sandy knows. So, Papa dog has to get out. Okay, I'll let the Papa dog out. We'll go together. Papa dog, you have to get out. Okay. I have the door closed because there is the Papa dog and he has to get out. And yes, he has to get out, and every hour he has to get out. Yes, every hour. Be careful with the shoulder. Careful, careful, careful. Every hour the Papa dog has to get out. He has to go make pee-pee and he has to go make poo-poo. Yes, we have a ramp here. We made that ramp actually for Kenny, for the Great Dane, because he had trouble going upstairs. Papa dog doesn't have trouble going upstairs, so he goes up these stairs very gradually. And it doesn't bother him at all, while Kenny, he ran up the stairs because he was scared of them, and it was always an ordeal going up and down, and he even had fallen down the stairs. So we finally, it was just didn't work. So we finally set up Paul's bed. This was Paul's bedroom originally. So we brought Paul's big, heavy, king-size bed back downstairs and put it in one of the bedrooms downstairs. And so then Kenny and Paul slept together in the king-size bed in Paul's bedroom. And so I always cuddled with Kenny and Paul and when we go to sleep, and I cuddle with the Papa dog and Paul when we go to sleep. But the bed is not big enough for all three of us. I'm big, and Papa dog is big, and Kenny was 3XL, and Paul is not big. So, but we need space. So I have my own bedroom and my own queen size bed. But during the day, the Papa dog, he sits and sleeps on my bed because I have my recliner in my room now, and to keep it warm and to have to heat up less room, less airspace. So that's why this room here, it didn't work out. It's very large. It takes a long time for the heater to heat it up, and Paul doesn't allow heat at night. So this works out. During the day, I heat up my bedroom and the Papa dog, and this is practical because Papa dog gets on the recliner. The recliner is not that high. My bed's quite high because I also have a 12-inch memory foam mattress, so that brings it up much higher. And so the Papa dog hops onto the recliner, and from the recliner he hops onto my bed and hops back down, and works out very well. And the rug is also padded, and that works out very well. And this couch here is a little bit higher than the couches in the living room, so for that I got him the stepping cushion. I got the stepping cushion, which is awesome. And I even found perfect baby mattress, like baby crib mattress, fitted sheets. So I got them. Where did I get it? At Walmart or Amazon? I forgot. 2 in a package, and they were like, I don't know, they were like $8 each or something. Very, very cute with leopard pattern, and it fits these it fits these stepping cushions very well. They can also be folded up and made into like a yoga type of seat, and they look kind of cute. It's very nice. They're made out of a micro suede synthetic leather, like a synthetic soft leather. Very, very nice. And all the couches are. So I don't buy anything that contains animal material anymore. I pay very close attention to this. All of my accessories are made out of synthetic materials. And I also don't buy jewelry because jewelry comes from exploitation. So I make my own jewelry out of wobble monsters. And I use, rests from sewing, like fabric rests and all of this to make the velvet bands and attach my wobble monsters onto it. And I have gone shopping with my pink wobble monster. I even went to the Dollar Tree store with it, and where I bought the wobble monster, and I said, look, I said to the one cashier lady, she's the sweetest. I said to her, look, I made this jewelry out of the wobble monster. And she said, there you go, it works well. And the people seem to smile, they seem to, wherever I went, they seemed to smile, and they didn't look at me funny or something. They all had a smile on their face. When I was walking, the wobble monster was wobbling. So I think that's much better. That's a better way to go in terms of jewelry making. We should make our own jewelry, and maybe we can make jewelry out of Play-Doh as well, in different sizes. And would be nice to make your own sculptures and have them casted into a cast form, and then you can you can make any kind of material out of it. So you can put wobble monster material into the cast. It will come, your own shape that you made will come out in wobble monster form, or you can make a bronze cast out of it, and it will come out very heavy in bronze, and kind of like a steel amalgam. I don't know what they all put in it. I guess copper and steel and silver, they mixed that together to make bronze. The artist Jonathan Mese, one of the top 100 modern artists today. Amazing guy, amazing philosopher, God level soul, by the way. Incredible philosopher. And his art is also very wild and amazing, quite amazing. It's not like, I don't want someone else's art in my house. It's just me. But his art is amazing, I think. And it's very, very much in the flow. It's very, very much belly art, like I used to paint when I was a child. And kind of 70s, and of course all of this has already been there. It's not like it's an innovation or anything, but it's still fresh, and the gallerists could see that. They picked him out right out of art school. And Jonathan, he gets these he gets these I think earth clay busts sent to him, like it's almost like mass produced, like on a conveyor belt or something. Here's another earth clay, very fresh, very, very, very moldable, very hydrated earth clay bust that doesn't have a face. It's just the simple bust type of shape, and then he busts it up literally, and he changes everything around, and he puts things in it, he morphs things out of it, and then it he usually leaves it in the bust type of theme and shape. You know, bust is like a person up to here, so, you know, head and shoulders. And then he just morphs things out of it, and sometimes makes it the nose very long and the ears and hair, and gives it Napoleon hat, and just in seconds he forms things out of that stuff. This is very rigid, by the way. Okay, you can't work very fast with this, but with a hydrated earth clay like that he gets already prefabricated, sent to him like this, because the gallerists, he wants him to mass produce, because the more he makes, the more the gallerist makes, and then he sells every one of those busts for, I don't know, $1 million or something. Yeah. So yeah, that is a that they take quite advantage. Not the artist. The artist would never do this. It's the gallerist that does it. But the artist does profit from this, of course. The artist signs a contract that says that of course, that he's not going to make determinations on price, that he leaves this up to the gallerist. And it also gives him sort of like a ticket to an alibi to say, well, this is all my gallerist is doing this, you know, I'm not making decisions on the prices, so I'm not the bad guy or something, you know. So in that sense, but I don't think if he was to make artwork and sell it on his own, I have this feeling that he would give it all away, just like I have done in the past. I would always end up giving my artwork away, and if I sold it, and if another person would come up and say, oh yeah, but you've given her a free artwork, can I have one too? And then I would, if I then would be kind of, one time I said, well, but I love my artwork. I don't really need to, I don't want to give it all away, you know, and I kind of need the money, and so I need the, I don't know what it was, 250 euros or something, that I sold a painting, and to someone I hadn't seen in a very long time, and we weren't like very close friends or anything. And then they were kind of mad at me for that I took that money, but they bought it anyway. They gave me the money, which I think it was cool. So the next time I came out, I felt guilty about this. I felt like, shit, I should have given her the painting. But, you know, my artwork is worth something, you know. I can't just be throwing this all around and here, for free, everything here, take, you know. So it takes me months and months to make it. A lot of work, a lot of mind goes into it, you know, to just be giving it away, but then I end up giving it away. Happened in Germany, happened in LA, and it's probably gonna happen again. So, because once we're gonna be moving, it's gonna be very difficult. It's very costly to move art in a safe way, and my artwork would take up an entire U-Haul truck, or whatever, a real large rental truck, cargo truck, enclosed cargo truck, would take up the entire storage room, and yeah, I can't. I don't have the money to transport my artwork all the way around all the time. So I'm gonna end up doing something else with it. Maybe I will auction it off. So maybe I will do this. So, and maybe to make it even more enticing, I can, instead of selling it, because I don't even know if that's legal to do that on YouTube. Instead of selling it, I'm gonna ask people that that we can make we can make a friendly exchange or something like this, to avoid the situation of selling something. So maybe I can say, okay, you give a donation, which is not a donation then if it's a deal, of course, but that is a legal way of bypassing, okay, I guess, the selling. And so they can donate, they could donate to my GoFundMe page, which I have, that is raising money to create a nonprofit organization and to educate people on natural healing and to create a center to help people psychologically, to have group sessions. So this is my dream, to open up a center, to buy this healing resort. There's a healing resort for $3.5 million in Northern California for sale. It's a hot spring resort. It's already running, and I could then add that educational and training, free training facility and therapy facility. I can add that onto it. So, and I would make it so that the hotel runs in the same way it ran before, because we need to also have an income. But the school and the therapy center, that's the educational stuff, will be for free, because that is what I've been planning on doing. So if people want to not give their money to the US military, Lockheed Martin, and active sonar devices that are killing the whales, then I highly recommend to people to give it to my GoFundMe page and to my cause. And then we can figure, I'm not doing it yet, but eventually we're going to do this when we're moving here, because we're planning on moving. So we're planning on relocating to the desert. But for now, it's gonna be a cheap property that we're gonna get, where nothing is on it. But we're hoping to get hot spring water there, so just for our own use and for vegetable growing and all of this. And the place is not big enough. It's gonna be under 3 acres. So the hot spring resort, that's like 150 acres. And there's a lot of facilities on it, and it has an enormous potential to create an entire paradise, to help people. And by people I always mean animals and humans. So, and to create an entire healing research center and educational center and healing center, that where I test on myself, and where each person is testing on themselves voluntarily, sort of, so where no animal is being used for anything, for any kind of service. So if I have a horse, the horse is not going to be made to carry anyone. So if I have a cow, the cow is there to live in retirement. If I have a pig, the pig is there to be happy. And so whoever animal lives there, they're going to be living there for their own happiness. And yeah, and the animal is there to communicate with people on their own accord, to teach something, to whisper something into their ears on their own accord. If the animal feels like educating a person, then the animal will do that. And they do this in body language, and the children learn a lot from animals because they're still open to the animal language. They learn a lot, and they learn that, hey, this cow there, she's just like me. We're one unit. We're together. We're not separate. We're one unit, like this here. We belong together. She's made out of the same materials I am made out of. And so that's my dream for the future, to create that kind of educational center, and like I said before, to have a safe haven for teenagers to come to, and for people that to come there also locally, or people who are van dwelling or motorhome traveling. And maybe we'll have some RV places there. So maybe there are already some RV spots on that property. I haven't seen it yet. We're gonna go look at it. We're gonna go look at it for sure. I want to use the spa, and I want to check it out because I found that on Google and it looks amazing. Papa dog, come here, come my love, come, come to me, baby. Papa dog's coming up the stairs. Yes, very excellent, excellent, excellent. Come, my love. Come, my beautiful. There is the beautiful, 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 beautiful Papa dog. Yes, Papa dog, come show yourself. Let me see if you're wet. Let me see. Are you wet? No, he's not wet. He's good. Okay. So I recommend to people always take your animals to go poo-poo and pee-pee. It's very important. Never let them wait. Whatever we're doing, if we're in the middle of bookkeeping or writing a book, we have to get up and let the animal out. It's very important. In our cases, it's the dogs. The cats, they have their own toilets indoors, but the dogs have to be let out. And so for that, my dream, my ultimate dream for living, living space of the future, the living space of the future. Yes, the living space of, very excellent. The living space of the future will be dome houses that are just put over the land. And then you can have set up a room inside. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be just it can be a room made out of cardboard, actually. Like for example, the architect Frank Gehry makes furniture out of corrugated cardboard. Like they make cardboard boxes, and they have a corrugation, like a wavy pattern on the inside, which gives it very much stability. And then it has a sheet of, like, very rough kind of brown paper, recycled or whatever, on one side and on the other side. And that's how they make the walls for cardboard boxes. Frank Gehry took that another step higher. He had walls for that, walls made that are very thick, that are like, I know, like this thick, and the corrugation goes very, 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 fans very far out, and it's more knitted together. It's more condensed together, so it gives it a lot more strength. And then he has several of those layers, and they are also packed on each side with a layer of paper, which gives it extra strength. Then he has these layers put together, sort of like a almost like a particle board, but in a very, very structured way, in a very strong way. One would think cardboard, it's basically paper. How is that going to be strong? But if you structure this right, it can be very, very strong, very, very strong, almost kind of like carbon fiber, sort of, but in a macro way. So Frank Gehry makes these furnitures, like tables and seats and chairs out of that, and they look really amazing. And one time we went to a tax consultant with our real estate lady, and he was somewhere, I don't know, somewhere downtown LA, and he had an office there. And we went in there, a Japanese guy, and boy, that was an amazing office. Wow, I got so excited because I grew up with that type of style, with modern art and modern furniture and everything styled up, like totally super styled. And I haven't been around that in a while because, we were living in LA. My parents are living halfway around the globe. And so we got to this tax consultant and modern art lover and friend of Frank Gehry. And lo and behold, we sat on a huge Frank Gehry cardboard corrugated table. I was amazed. It was a delight to sit on that table. What an amazing table, and strong. Amazing. And if that's made out of recycled materials, then we're really in business with a future saving the earth business. So I was excited, and his wife made us Japanese pastries, and they tasted so good, and I felt like this big fat uh, cookie monster from Germany sitting there at this table eating the pastries. And I think I wasn't even supposed to eat all of these pastries, but they tasted so good. And then I felt guilty. I felt like, am I not supposed to eat those? I don't know what to do, but they taste so good. And I felt like the tax consultant looked at me like, he kind of like snubbed his nose a little bit. He wouldn't even talk to me. He just talked to Paul. But that's okay. People are however they are. But I really was delighted about the art and Frank Gehry's table and the furniture and everything styled up, and it reminded me of my parents' house, and the food was absolutely out of this world. Amazing. One can make amazing stuff out of recycled materials, particularly when it's restructured, when it's made into raw materials, or when it's made into 3D printer material that melted back into a fluid, into a plastic fluid, and then used for 3D printing, and you can make almost anything with that. I mean, it's so awesome. So the potentials for that paradise type of healing property and resort, healing center and research and educational center that I want to develop. The potentials for that are amazing. It would be amazing. It would invite amazing minds. It would bring those people to the resort that are like-minded, that have something to offer to the world, that are also innovators and making the world a better place. And together we can make it better, and we can bring our thoughts together. I can have guest speakers. I can have Teal Swan come, and Eckhart Tolle, and Pema Children. I can talk to Pema Children about the baby seals that need their attention, that need their help, and we can talk this through. If we have different opinions, then at least we can talk about it. We don't have to be. I'm not going to be forcing anything on anyone, and they're not going to be forcing anything on me, and it will be a friendly exchange of information, which is the basis to make things better, to move things forward, to give people time. Sometimes it takes time for people they need to digest that information first, and they need to put it to the test for themselves, and they need to do a lot of introspecting, and they need to do a lot of questioning of their old ways of living or thinking or practicing and so on. and then find out, maybe this is a better approach. Maybe I should try it at least, So, and that's how we move forward. So I recommend to people to, instead of giving their money directly to the government, where they do terrible, terrible underwater explosions with the active sonar, causing unimaginable suffering in the ocean animals, instead of giving the money to the military, to the government and the military that has not just 2 feet but both hands in the government as well. Instead of doing that, give the money to the GoFundMe page to create that therapy center. And when you do this, I will give you one of my artworks. I will figure out before how much donation money will be equivalent for each art piece that I have. I have art pieces in many different sizes, and they're all gonna have to be liquidated. So they're gonna become liquid like this, and they're gonna float to your house. And they reaffirm themselves in your house and move up onto the wall, or they'll be standing on their own, like this camera stand here. They can stand at the door and greet people when they come in. So, and yeah, so you'll get an art piece according to the amount of donation that will be given to that therapy center. And I think that will be a fair solution to do. That would be great to do. Because then I can make my GoFundMe page more appealing than it is at this current moment. So it doesn't have much. I don't have much information on it yet. I just gave a brief summary on where I'm coming from, educationally, and why I want to create this, and so on. And I have put a link of one of my videos on it. I have a photo of myself, but it's all not like, it doesn't, I think people really don't know what to make out of this at this point. So if I can bring this entire cause with all the future vision things that are attached to it as one person's initiative to make the world a better place, then we can move this gradually forward and can have other people help as well and bring their innovation into it and so on. Frank Gehry can come over and meet my dad. My dad would love to meet Frank Gehry and Richard Meyer, for example. I mean, it's all, there's a potential, let's put it this way. It's a potential to do this. I'm not there at this point, okay, but the potentials are there. The sky is limitless. So, and so is the law of attraction, and so is whatever we can actually make out of our own lives. Whatever we can make out of the resources that we have available to us here on this planet. So the future of existence is all gonna be indoors, but it's gonna be outdoors and closed. That's what we're gonna have, because of the weather patterns that are gonna be becoming so unmanageable, so extreme, that we're going to have biosphere domes of of huge proportions, particularly for horses and other grazing animals. They're going to have to be inside. They're going to be indoors. And I recommend this already to people, to bring all of their barn animals into a barn, and all of their grazing animals into the barn, and heat the barn if possible, you know, if there's a chance, and if not, then at least create something, you know. There you can create a candle heater yourself. I saw that on YouTube, a cheap way of making a sort of like a furnace out of clay pots, you know, that have a hole like a vent on the top, kind of like a teepee, you know. Some clay pots for plants, planter pots, they're already cut into a teepee sort of form. They already have a hole, and on the bottom you turn this upside down, and you can create yourself a furnace of some sort. You know, you can that can start heating up, this furnace, and this furnace then will radiate out just with one candle, let's say, of this size. It can heat up the room quite a bit. You know, we have several of those in safe places, away from any hay and straw, of course. You know, it has to be in a very safe place. This has to be done very safely. You know, I don't recommend to people to just do this. You know, please get informed about it and find out how to create very, very, very safe places for barn furnaces, or any kind of, to create any kind of furnace inside of a barn, particular, because of the straw and the hay. So it's very, very important that this has to be done safely. There, people have burned out barns because of that. So it can happen very fast. So you have to be very, very cautious about it. But there are ways of, if you don't have the infrastructure, if you don't have an electric cord, or you can buy electric cord. You can buy outdoor electric cords that are 50 feet long. You can connect them together. You can hook up an electric heater inside the barn. Also put this into a safe place. But it's already happening. You know, the polar vortex is happening right now in the United States. Animals and people have already frozen to death. They have died from hypothermia, and it's a horrible thing. It's horrible to be cold, absolutely horrible. It's a horrible suffering, okay, and we need to prevent that. So we need to do whatever we can to protect our animals and children and family. So very important. So the future, because of this, the future is going to be biosphere domes. My dad doesn't really want to hear about this. He falls asleep when I talk about it. But, and then they question it, like, what about the infrastructure, sanitation system? How is this all gonna work? It's like, we have to go green. That is the only chance we have. Every spoiled person using their water toilets, their flush toilets, and having everything already, hot water on demand, and everything going and luxurious. We have to reform. I'm sorry about this, but we have to reform. That doesn't mean we have to cut down on luxury at all. It's just a reformation. It's just a rethinking. That's all it is. Right now, we're using very simple bucket toilets. Okay, you can buy a bucket toilet rim for it, a seat for it. It costs like between $10 and $20 or $30, and you have to find a matching bucket for it that actually fits that. And that's another problem, because these things are not normed. But you know, that's the start. That's how we start. Okay, and then in time we can create very luxurious commodes to have these bucket toilets put in, to set them in, and to have a commode with a real comfortable seat on it that just opens up with a joint. in the back. So just like you open up a lid and open this up, you take the bucket out, you clean the bucket, or you put a new bucket in it, and that's all you need to do. And then you close that lid again. So, and that can all be cleaned just the same way, and that can be very stylish, So the outer commode and facade and all of this. We can still keep incredible gold vein, marble countertops. You can have gold vein, marble, toilet seat. I mean, it can be very, very expensive and stylish and luxurious and crystal healing and amazing. So it can be done in many different ways and in budget forms. So, and we can still have the same type of countertops and the same sink, the same faucet and water coming out and all of this. It's just that we have to rethink in terms of the plumbing situation and in terms of, putting nutrients back into the land. So video is already 56 minutes, can cut off any time now. So, but I said a bunch of things that I thought were important. And so Paul and I, we're starting from scratch with all of this. We're pioneers in green living, and we really walk our talk in this. I often get shit from people, and they go like, "Yeah, but you look like you're using." On some photos, I may have used cosmetic, and they go, "You use cosmetic," and I say, "I make my cosmetic myself. I make my makeup myself. I make all of this myself out of earth clays, and plant waxes and plant oils and essential oils. So I don't use synthetic oils anymore. I used to in the past. I was a fan of Calvin Klein. I gave all of these perfumes away because they contain alcohol and they contain unnatural scents and aromas that were made in synthetically from, I don't know, petroleum waste products or something. So I buy everything natural plant essences and all of this. And I strongly believe this is the future, if we want to make this planet wonderful again, make the earth great again, literally. I really want to see that happening. And we can do it, we can do it. We have the tools, we have the knowledge. It's just a matter of passing that knowledge on. The corporate agenda doesn't want that holistic knowledge to be passed on, because then they can't sell you their products. They have their production lines going, and they want to keep that going. It's called market perpetuation, and it's very corrupt, okay, and it just causes problems on this planet. That's why we're having these climate catastrophes now, because of this extreme nearsightedness, short-sightedness for the future, what's going to happen. They only see dollar signs, they see market perpetuation, they see profit maximization. That's not where it's going to go. I'm not talking about communism. We can still have an amazing system, a system better than any system that has ever existed before. We can have an off-grid system, okay? We can have a barter system that works much better. We can actually get away from the monetary system. Eventually, we will get away from it. The banks have such an iron grip on everything, just as the militaries have. So they work hand in hand. This is a very corrupt system, okay, the corporate agenda, okay? And they have so many people that move this along. But my message goes out to them and everyone. If we want to make the world better, and that also makes the world better for you and your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and the future generations of dogs and wolves and squirrels and cows and pigs. the all the beings that exist. Yes, I'm upstairs. I'm making a video.
Is he up there with you?
Yes, he is.
Because the door was open. I'm looking outside for you.
So we can make things better, but every single person is required to help with this. But even if they don't help, you help. You do it. Don't make it dependent on someone else. I can help make it better. I don't have to let a society pull me into their grooves. I can say no to it. Peaceful resistance. I say no to that what doesn't work. And I say yes to that what works. And I practice that what really, really works. And with that, we're going to make it. If everyone does it, and not in terms of I have to look up that at this person or that teacher and how do they do it, and I looking up by the picture book or something. No, you have to use your own innovation. You stand on your own 2 feet as an individual that is equally precious and equally important to move these things forward. And everyone can help in their own ways. Everyone can help. People can help with donations. They can help with where they put their money, to put the money where their mouth is, where their brain is, to move their brain in the right direction, and everything will follow. And in the consuming choices we make, that's where it already starts. Not to buy an animal from a breeder, but rescue an animal. Okay, and instead of buying or letting someone build with wood, you create a dome house. You can create a room out of corrugated cardboard, and that's very strong. By Frank Gehry, architect Frank Gehry can build that for you. It's never going to get water damage because it's in a dome. Okay. So, or you can have a room made out of 3D printed material, recycled material from recycled plastic that has been washed on shore in Japan or Philippine Islands or anywhere, where amazing people, caring environmentalists go out there and pick that up, and we recycle this into 3D printing material. And we make incredible things with it. Rooms, furniture, anything, countertops, tables, you can make anything with that. And if you have it indoors and made plastic materials, they're not going to get water damage, even if they're outside. So you can make incredible launch chairs with that. That are very easy to wash, for example, and very comfortable, like already shaped in your shape with the legs up and the back comfortable.